Do you find yourself feeling tension, stress as you go through your day, and maybe there's just a lot of chaos going on and you just find yourself spinning further and further out of control? And then you just get to the point where you either shut down or you numb, like scrolling or whatever the thing is, food, alcohol, whatever the thing is that you like to go to numb. And that's how you deal with it because everything just feels really out of control. Well, today we're going to explore some tips on how to hit the reset button and to stop that spinning out of control, okay? And I find that these tools can really be effective, and I love that they're free and accessible anywhere you are, anytime. So I want to welcome you. I'm Erica, and this is Powered by Joy podcast. And here we're exploring more ways to shift our energy, like I just said, and get out of the frustration, feeling stuck, bored, frustrated, angry, stressed, and overwhelmed. And we're trying to find ways to bring in more joy and pleasure, or ease, or peace, feeling more in flow, just getting better at releasing and expanding our capacity for the good stuff too. And so if that sounds like stuff you want to learn more about, this is the right place, my friends. So I'm going to share a little story to give an example that kind of, I thought almost was a perfect example, but via a dog. So I'm going to share a little story about I went and picked up my granddog yesterday, and when it was time to unload her, she was so anxious to get out and do whatever that she was just like, "Wah!" And I had her on a leash, and she jumped, and I was going to take her collar or her leash off before, so she just about hung herself. She didn't actually hang herself, so don't worry, she's perfectly okay. But she freaked out and started like spinning around, and it did not help. I was just trying to get her calm so I could just take it off because then she'd be free. And then I thought about again this morning. She was really wound up with lots of pent up energy and just like running around spinning and just like, ah. And I was trying to I got her to get on the leash, and I was going to take her for a walk, but it was like, then it was that frantic energy again, that frantic, and she couldn't figure out where to walk. She was just running around, just like, and then I finally got her out the door, which was a challenge in itself because she was just like running around. And it was excitement, frantic excitement this time, but it was still that frantic energy. And so then when we went to start walking, she still just was like that frantic, like, like I need to smell everything. I need to see everything. I need to do everything. And, and like, she couldn't just walk nicely on the leash. And she was pulling and just like so looking at everything and distracted by everything. And so I was just observing that. And then as we went through the walk, I just kept pausing with her and talking to her. And she slowly started to calm down and walk very nice and calmly. And like, oh, it's like, okay, this is nice. And then we got by some dogs, which I think of as kind of like what those little dogs they were all little in different yards were like, and I just thought that's totally like the stress in our lives that we all experience of having that something coming at us, just run back and forth, run back and forth. Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And it just causes, there's noise, all this stuff going on, and there's this tension again. And so then she's like, oh, so there's that tension in her body again, and she's frantic, and she's running in front of me and around me and just got disrupted. But as we kept walking, we got to another house, and by then we'd stopped, just pet her, just relaxed. And as we got to another house that had the dog frantically running, I was able to just call out to her and talk to her, and she just glanced over, but she kept walking calmly and was fine. And then by the time we were nearing the end of our walk, she was just so calm and she was relaxed and she seemed to be happy. And I was just like, how many times do we do that to ourselves, basically? Like, we just start spinning out of control and we basically almost hang ourselves with the stress of it. Like, we make things so much worse because we're like trying to do everything, look at everything, letting everything come in at us and not like staying. Like, I thought about how getting her out and moving her body, making movement, shifting her environment, and how just talking to her, telling her what she was doing right and a good job, just like that calm. And I also thought like me as a person walking her could represent how we can pause and trust that there's a higher power guiding us and that we can trust that, and that she definitely seemed to relax into the whole situation by the end. And it just, again, was like, hello, how often do we, instead of going, oh, okay, like there's a way through this, and if I calm down, I can actually see the path and the way, and I won't get as distracted by the barking dogs and all the chaos, and I can just focus and stay on the trail. And I thought that was a really good metaphor for what we kind of do when we're like just spinning out or overwhelmed, and just feel like, oh my gosh, what do we do? And so the next question would be, how do we hit that reset button, right? And so I just wanted to share tools that, if you've listened to any of my other episodes, they're going to sound familiar. And it's because they work and I continue to practice using them. And I don't always, so I'm not speaking from a place of perfection, but these are tools I definitely am finding myself using on a daily basis because it helps me be in a better headspace or just deal with everything in life that comes at us. And so, first one we're going to do is step one, and that is just to stop when you're feeling that utter chaos going on around you. Just stop and take 3 deep breaths, counting to 4, breathing in, hold it for 7, and then exhale for 8. Doing that into your belly, do it 3 times, 4, 7, 8. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. It resets our body, and you just take that, because a lot of times we don't realize we're not even taking a full breath. We're just shallow breathing, and then our body's like, oh, I don't have as much oxygen. I can't think as clear. I can't come up with solutions. I can't stay focused and see the clear path. And so how are you supposed to calm down or handle a situation if your brain's in survival mode because it's not getting enough oxygen, because you don't realize it, but you're actually doing shallow breath into your chest and not that deep breath into our bellies? So when you do that, stop and breathe into your belly, feel your belly expanding. Okay. And then step number 2 is curiosity. So I want you to then just go, okay, asking, what do I have control over right now? What do I have the ability to do right now? What's one thing I can do to reset myself? And that's an important question to ask. Second, we're going to move our body. So you got to move. Don't just sit in the energy. Don't sit on the couch and do nothing, looking at your phone. We want to move our body. So that could be that you get up and you dance, stomp, jump, walk. If you have to, wave your hands around there, whatever. It could be stretching, it can be clapping, it could be anything, but it's lift weights, running, like move your body. Don't just sit in that frantic energy. And if possible, going for a longer walk or something to get your heart rate up and get things moving, just like moving your body. So they talk about motion creates emotion. So just remember that you can shift your emotions by moving your body. Being in motion can shift your emotions. It's very powerful. So when I was doing like the Tony Robbins events, I'll call it, they would have us, you start to feel tired, they would regularly get us on a little mini trampoline, or if you didn't have one, we would just jump. They would have you get up and jump and dance in place like every 10 to 15 minutes so that you could raise your energy back up and like shift your energy and wake back up if you're feeling tired. And so there's a lot of scientific proof around moving your body in any way will help shift how tense and all that emotion, that frantic emotion, can shift if you move your body. So move your body. So number 3 is to visualize and set an intention around putting that stress in a bubble. So picture whatever that thing is that's stressing you out. Is it a person? Is it a situation? Is it your job? Is it I don't know, your diet, your weight, whatever. Maybe you're having some chronic pain, something like that. Picture it in a bubble and just close your eyes, picture it in a bubble, see it floating away. See it just putting in a bubble and watch it move further and further away from you. And picture if it's making noise that it's quieter, you can't quite hear them anymore, and they get so small and distant that you can't see it anymore. And just picture that it's getting released up to a higher power, God, if that's what you call him or her, whatever it is that you believe in, just letting go and releasing it in that bubble. Back to some love and light. Let somebody else deal with that situation, because your worry, stress, and frantic tension does not solve the problem. It doesn't make it better. It doesn't help you see solutions. But just taking that time to do that breath, moving your body. Okay, now stop. Just put it in a bubble and bye, and just picture it floating away. Just for right now, you might have to put it back in the bubble in an hour, but just letting it go and just picturing it moving away. Just see that problem distancing itself from you can help cut that tie. You can even visualize cutting, if there's a string between you and that bubble, cut it and be like, okay, you're released from me for right now. And I get to call back my calm, peaceful, easeful energy and not be tied to that anxiety, worry, tension, overwhelm. And then the next step is number 4, and that is to anchor in. So now we're going to anchor into a gratitude and loving based thought that is not fear based, but a truth that you can think of. So I love to have people stop. I love to put my hand on my heart space, and just doing some breathing. Again, you can do 4-7-8 again if you want to, but breathing in into my heart space really grounds us. And remembering we can be present for ourselves by just, touching our body in a way that we can feel our breath, feeling our breath in and out, and it can just have an automatic calming just in doing that, like I said, with our initial steps. But we're going to now anchor in that breath, going into that heart space. And I want you to think of a memory or experience that you've had that when you think of it, it brings you love and warm fuzzies and joy or happiness or a smile on your face. And I want you to think of that memory. So maybe it's when you first held a baby, or maybe you heard a toddler laughing, or maybe you were laughing with your best friend, or maybe it was a beautiful sunset or a view when you were traveling. It might be when you were being intimate with your partner and the ecstasy of that. It might be hugging your grandkids. It might be petting your dog or walking outside with your dogs. It just makes you feel so loving and happy and good. Go into that. And then when you get that memory, I want you to think about, how did you feel? Like, what was the temperature around you? Were you inside? Were you outside? Check into all of your senses. How did all of your senses feel in that memory? Was there, what were you wearing? What were you seeing? Who were you with? How were you? Just all of that really brings you back. What did you smell? And thinking of all those senses really anchors in that love sensation, emotion tied to that memory. and it literally shifts our energy. It shifts the molecules in our body. There's scientific proof of that as well, that this works to tie into these memories and really bring the memory back to the point where you're using all your senses to go back and experience it. It floods your body with the good, healthy chemistry and not the stress chemicals that we release when we're in high tension, like the cortisol and all that stuff that we don't want to be in all the time. So anyways, we're anchoring into that loving space, and that is super powerful to do. So that's step 4, is just anchoring in and giving gratitude for that memory, thinking about that love, and just having gratitude for having that you can go back and reflect on and plug into for grounding. And then your bonus step is, can you pick up your phone and text or message? You don't have to call anybody, but just text somebody even, or send them on Messenger a message to someone you love, and send them a message about what you love about them, just randomly at that moment. Because when we share that love, when we share a loving thought, it amplifies that energy within us. And that really is another way to just notch up that reset that we're aiming to do in the middle of the chaos. It is so powerful, and it all sounds simple, and it's free. And you're probably like, oh, okay, I tried it. Redo it. If you have to do it 4 times a day, 5 times a day, because new stuff keeps coming at you, that's okay. And on episode 37, it was about clearing and grounding your energy. And I had a ton of different ideas. If you do this and you still feel like you need a little more to just kind of clear yourself and reset, there was tons of ideas in there on how to shift yourself and clear your energy if you've just been around things that are just pulling all the chaos and stress into your day. So you've got some good resources, and I even did a free handout for the ways you can clear yourself as well. So I'll put all of that in the show notes, but I just want you to know you have resources out there for you, and just remembering the power of these basic steps. And so I just want to touch on them super fast. Okay. So number 1 is just stop and breathe. Do 3, 4, 7, 8 breaths, 3 of them. And then you're moving your body. And now you're going in and visualizing, setting intention of that stress thing that's stressing you out, floating far, far away. 4, we're going into gratitude and a love memory, and flooding ourselves and anchoring in that calm love energy. And then it's so powerful to know that we can anchor into that. That is like the eye of the storm is going on. You can plant yourself right there, right? And everybody can find that other, I want to say that better. Everybody can ground and clear themselves differently, and what's effective for me might not be as effective for you. So really playing with what are ways to reset yourself. So you might need to do something besides just move your body and breathe and go into that heart space, which I have found 97% effective every time I've tried it. But you might need to turn on specific music. You might need to burn a candle. You might need to journal. There's all sorts of ideas that I've covered in previous episodes, and I am happy to work with you one-on-one if you need to book some time to kind of go, okay, I really struggle with clearing all that and like getting back in the right headspace. I'm happy to help you with that too. But I also offer all these free resources for you that I know are super helpful, and you just have to give yourself permission to play, be more playful around trying to find what way works for you in addition to these ideas. And so if one way that I've suggested doesn't work, so maybe getting up and running or going for a walk doesn't ground you, but maybe sitting down and doing a jigsaw puzzle like makes all your worries go away. Whatever that is, just make sure you don't judge it, but just actively play and seek and be curious to find ways that you do have a clearing of your energy, to reground, anchor into that loving spot. So whatever it is that gets you into that space where you can breathe into your heart space and flood your body with that love emotion and cleanse it all out. That's what we got to do. So I want to make sure that you remember that curiosity is super powerful in these situations, and not judging ourselves when we find ourselves falling into that spiral like my granddoggy did, where she was just freaking out instead of just being calm. She was just like, ah, frantic, right? Like, even if it's frantic excitement, frantic happy, there is power in getting calm and resetting. We don't all have to be running around frantic. And so we don't have to judge ourselves. The game is, can you catch yourself spiraling out or feeling out of control quicker? And remember that you do have the power to have control, because you get the choice of how you're going to perceive what's happening to you. And you also get the choice of how you're going to react or respond when chaos comes at you, which it just does. If you're breathing in alive, you've got chaos, right? So you have the power in your hands of that. You have control of that. We don't always have control of what's going on outside of us, but we do have and get the power to choose how we perceive what's happening to us. Is it a learning lesson, or is this something I need to step away from? Or is this just that I need to ground and learn how to work through the crazy cycles that happen in life, right? So I just want to encourage you to not be in judgment with yourself, but remember how much power you do have. And so you get the choice to respond and choose to reset if you need to. Take a couple minutes to breathe. Gather yourself so you can see the clear path ahead, because you're not spinning around freaking out because the little doggy's yip, 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 yip. Nope. We're staying clear, seeing the path. And I hope that this episode was super helpful. I know that these tools have been very impactful for me, especially when I actually put them into use and do it. So that would be what I'd say is do it. Don't just think about it, just try it out. I mean, what's the harm in trying something new if what you've been doing hasn't worked? So I invite you to try these 4 steps plus the bonus and see how you feel. And if you think that there's someone you know that would benefit from hearing these tips and needs to hear it, please share it with them. I would love it if you would share. I also invite you to check out in my show notes all the other things I'm offering currently. So like I said, there's one-on-ones available. I have my play dates for mamas once a month. The next one in the Boise area is October 24th, and it's going to be s'mores and story time, and there's limited spots. So if you're a mama, sister, auntie, whatever, and you're looking for that couple hours to just step away, connect with other ladies, just have some fun, relax and connect and laugh and just be together with like-minded ladies, then you need to grab a ticket, and that is through the show notes as well. And I'm also working on a 2025 visioning, and I'm very excited about this. This is also a limited spot event, and it's to help you set an intention for 2025 and what you want to experience, because life is short, and when you don't set intentions, life just happens, and you don't get to experience all the things you dream of. And life is so powerful when we set intentions. And I've been able to personally cross off so many special bucket list items because I set those intentions and set that vision, put it in my heart, and found tools to make that happen. And so I just want to pass those awesome tools on, and I have some fun things planned for that day. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me as well. So I just wanted to share some of the fun things I have coming up that I'm super excited about. And again, you please like, share, follow all the things. I would love if that's something you felt inclined to do. So have an awesome week, and I will see you soon.